What is going on, Nuggets Nation, NBA fans? I am Tom Leuthner. Welcome back into Nuggets today. We got some topics to cover. So, as of the day of this recording, it's reported that Denver's probably not going to trade MPJ this offseason, which is fine. Obviously, there's things that can work. This Denver team has worked to get them to the postseason every year. It's just about closing out. Obviously, the last few years we've seen depth. So, what I want to talk about today is strictly the core that Denver has and working with them specifically. Or talking about how they could work, how they won't work if they won't, which I think they will. Like I said, they've been getting to the postseason. So the first guy I want to cover here is Christian Brown. Can Denver fully rely on him? And I could have worded it better. Can Denver continue to rely on him? Because this past year they did. And you look at Brown's stats, and I was taking a look, obviously every year he's improved. And I'm not saying that he's a bad player, and I'm not that nervous that Denver won't be able to rely on him anymore. I just think that he might need to be able to become a better shot creator for Denver. And I know it's funny because you look at his stats. If you're looking at just his points, right? He jumped from 4.7 points his rookie year, 7.3 his sophomore year, and this past year he averaged 15.5. He's able to be a starter on a championship team. His splits were awesome, and that's something that we've covered in the past, just like Aaron Gordon. Both of them have taken a massive jump when it comes to being able to shoot the ball and doing what Denver needs. Like I've covered with Brown, though, is he able to fully be a shot creator that Denver needs? He can score. We see that, obviously, averaging 15.5 points per game. You can score. But are you able to create your own shots not playing around Jokic? And I think that's something that everybody looks at. MPJ is such a good player. Jamal is such a good player. Aaron Gordon, who I actually think is probably one of the best players in the starting five, obviously. But are they that good, or were they that good around Jokic? Now, I know Jamal is a shot creator, and he's somebody that we're going to hop into. We're going to just basically talk about the core four around Jokic. But can Brown be that good of a guy when he's not playing with Jokic? That's the biggest question, because we continue to look at players and we don't really realize how great Jokic is until you start realizing how these players play when Jokic isn't the one fully performing, right? Everybody has their off games. Like I said, MPJ is something that we're going to get into, but can Brown develop into that player who can play those bench minutes when Jokic isn't there and fully be a shot creator and score for Denver? I think he can be. The other thing I would like to see from Brown is if he can develop being a better defender. And I think that he's a great defender. I really do. I think he's an amazing defender. But I feel like there were many times in the playoffs where we sort of saw a lapse from Brown, and he's supposed to be this great defensive player that Denver has in their starting five. He's supposed to be a great young talent, which I think he is. I just, in my opinion, need to see him take a little bit of a step up defensively and fully be able to shut guys down until we are able to say that he's this fantastic defender. Because Aaron Gordon right now seems like the best defender on Denver, and you have guys like Watson on the bench. We saw little spurts of Strawther being able to play defense, which I know people don't like hearing me say. But again, 4 possessions on Shea that he had face to face, and he shut him down almost all 4 of them. Obviously, there were some foul calls, and Shea gets them all, so it doesn't really matter. But like I said, I think that Brown needs to become more of a shot creator, and I think he needs to play better defense than the great defense he was already playing. This next guy I want to hop into is somebody that I am so hit or miss with, right? And you look at his stats. His stats, they look the same for the last 4 years. You look at the year he tore his ACL, you look at the year he came back, you look at the year after that, and you look at his points. 21 points, 20 points, 21 points, 21 points. That's Jamal Murray. You look at his rebound numbers, 4, 4, 4, and 3.9. You look at his assist numbers, 4.8, 6.2, 6.5, and 6. The one thing that I do not like with Jamal Murray is the fact that every year the stats stay the same regardless of the difference in minutes per game. Last year, he averaged 5 more minutes than he did the previous year, and he had the exact same stat line, less rebounds by 0.2, which doesn't really matter, but 0.5 less assists, so half a less assist. And I know that it comes with Jokic because Jokic, I guess, technically is the primary ball handler, but is also the facilitator of this team. But Jamal really needs to step up and go back to being a dominant player, right? And it's so funny because the stats, like I said, the stats are staying the same. But I know Jamal has his games. but he can't afford to come out next year and not be a guy who's consistent when it comes to getting to the playoffs and playing that well in the playoffs. Like I've covered in the past, he's had his 40-point games, but he also has his 10-point games and his 12-point games and his 15-point games. He can't afford to do that as the second option for Denver this upcoming year. The one thing I did not like at all that I saw from Jamal this year was the fact that it was a lot of just dribbling around, wasting shot clock, and not playing through Jokic, and maybe getting to the spot he wants to get to, but you're wasting time. Your time of possession is now insanely high, which is a good thing, but you're not getting a shot that you want to get off. You're just running back and forth, getting a screen from Jokic. It's not working, passing out, getting the ball back. Finally, with 2 seconds left on the shot clock, you're forcing a mid-range shot. Why not play through Jokic? And this is what I covered at the end of last season. Play through Jokic, and he'll get you to your spot. But if you're going to be the primary ball handler and what you want to score, that's fine. But get to the spot and take the shot you want. Stop wasting so much time. We play a faster paced game, that's fine. But when we play the slower paced game, you're not getting the shots you want, which is not a good thing, especially when you're the second option on this team. So I think that he can continue to be the main factor for Denver. I really do. I think that he's able to be that. Like we saw, he's very consistent when it comes to his stats. But at the same time, why not get the shot you want, take that shot earlier in the shot clock rather than dribble around, or just play through your best player, and that is Nikola Jokic. So I think that, again, I think we'll see another consistent season out of Jamal, but I think he needs to just wake up, not want to be this superstar, and play through Jokic. Again, he's a fine defender. He looked a little slow last year, so maybe get in better shape, I guess. That's the only thing I could say about Jamal. This next guy I want to cover, like I said, Mr. Nugget. Can he keep the shooting up? And that's the biggest thing, right? We saw his splits improved massively, like I've covered in the past, right? If you go back and you look at AG's splits, not from the field, because the field is around the same thing. 55 from the field 2 years ago. This past season, 53 from the field. But you look at 2 seasons ago, he shot 29% from 3 with 1.9 attempts per game. This past season, he shot 43% from 3 with 3.5 attempts per game. Now, I love him. I mean, how could you not love Aaron Gordon? You look at the increase in stats as well. He played less minutes per game this season. He played less games because obviously he dealt with the injury, but he averaged more points. He averaged less rebounds and the same assists, which the rebounding is a huge factor that everybody in Denver's starting 5 needs to rebound, because if it's not Jokic, then there's nobody doing it, and that's something I felt for a little while now. But again, this guy jumped up 20% from the 3-point line almost, and is taking 2 more attempts per game. He's averaging more points in less minutes. Can he keep those numbers up? I think he can. He is so dedicated that he built a basketball court in his house to work on his shooting. He posts about it all the time on social media. There's so many videos of his workouts. But this is a guy who Denver loves. He's probably, I want to say, the best defender in the starting 5, if you ask me. Can he keep those numbers up? Because if he can, then Denver is going to be a problem again. They're going to be run into the postseason again. It's going to be light for them. And he might be the second best player on Denver, if you ask me. I know that's a little controversial to say, but at this point, if you can rebound more, keep those shooting splits up, you're by far the second best player. Because like I said, Jamal's numbers might say that he's the second best player, but when it comes to him actually playing basketball, he's sort of just running to the spot that he wants to get to with 2 seconds left in the shot clock. Aaron Gordon's doing everything. Forcing turnovers, running in transition, hitting the shots you need to hit. I think that he might be Denver's second best player if he can keep the shooting numbers up and maintain the same defensive level that he's at right now. This last guy I want to talk about, obviously, is MPJ. Can he jump back to what he was in the beginning of the season, in the middle of the season, after his injury? He might be the most inconsistent playoff player we've ever seen, that I've ever seen, at least since I've been watching the Nuggets. You look at his regular season stats, played two more minutes per game. He jumped up 2 points per game, stayed the same with rebounds, which is awesome, and averaged just about half an assist more. Again, I think he's amazing if he's healthy. We saw him in the playoffs struggle 2 years ago. We saw him in the finals run struggle a little bit. We saw him this past year play through an injury, which kudos to him. I will always say that. But at the same time, he was such a liability in the playoffs. You look at the entire OKC series, rather. One good game, And that good game was phenomenal. Played 42 minutes, had 21, 8 and 1. That was in game 3 of the series. But you look at game 1, 2 points, 4 rebounds, 1 for 8. You look at game 2, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 2 for 10. Game 3, like I just said, he dominated. Game 4, he got the rebounds. He had 9 rebounds, but that didn't matter because he shot 1 for 7 with 3 points. You look at the next game, 2 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 for 7. Game after that, 10 points, 4.9 rebound, 4 for 9 from the field, 4 points. Not that bad of a game. And then, the last game of the series, obviously game 7, 6 points, 3 for 8, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 of those misses were the biggest misses of the game. So if he can bounce back, I really do think Denver is going to be a championship contender if they go out and sign 2 minimum guys. And if, again, like I said, MPJ needs to be the guy he was in the regular season, the guy that was able to average 18 points and 7 rebounds. If Aaron Gordon can come out, continue doing what he was doing from the field, but be able to play that defense and maybe get those 2 rebounds back up. Jamal needs to pick up the numbers. Denver realistically needs Jamal to average, again, if you're going to play more minutes, have the same amount of assists, you need to average 3 or 4 more points, especially as the second option. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today.